Lisbeth Mork, who is a specialist consultant in the field of welfare in Norway and an active member in a number of regional and global organisations supporting persons with disabilities. And we know that creativity is all about inclusion, and should be, and about re-enabling all students, all children, all learners. So thank you for settling down. We have 15 minutes. I've asked Home if she could finish before 15 minutes so we can take some questions. And we'll see how fast that 15 minutes drips through the sand. Yeah, sorry, it's 15. Thank you. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. As you said, my name is Lisbeth Mork and I'm from Norway. I'm working as a consultant in the field of welfare and education, and I'm the former chair of Education Commission in Rehabilitation International, also called RI. RI is a global organization and network that empowers persons with disability and provides sustainable solutions towards achieving a more inclusive society for all. There are estimated approximately 1 million people who live with a disability. They are the world's largest minority. RI is a non-profit organization and has been since its foundation in 1922. It's a worldwide organization located in 6 regions with headquarters in New York, near the UN building, and in close cooperation with the UN. RI has members in about 100 countries. RI has organized the professional work through different commissions, and my work is funded in the RI Commission for Education. Children with disability will be the platform for my presentation. And I have been asked to present a new RI project called A Global Symbol. And I will thank the organizer for inviting me. In this presentation, I will tell you about the background for the project called A Global Symbol for Inclusive Education, why RI as an organization prioritize a global symbol for inclusive education, and how to receive the quality symbol, and how to be following up the quality. Because of the time for this presentation, it's important to say that I will give you an overview of the project and the headline in the material produced. I will not go into details in the produced material. First, the background for the project. The mission for our project is to advance the right and inclusion for persons with disability across the world. As we all know, education play an important role in the way to a more inclusive society. Everything starts with education. Countries across the world have given their support and acceptance to the UN Convention about Education and Inclusive Education. But away from commitment of the inclusive education idea in the International Convention to realize the idea into practical work in societies, schools, universities, and kindergarten has been very long. The convention is well known for you all, I assume. But some convention had to be mentioned as an important part of the background for our project. I will mention the UNESCO Convention Against Discrimination in Education from 1960. This is important. This is also being recognized as a cornerstone for the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I will also mention the UN Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability, Article 24. This has been a very strong fundament for our project. At last, I will mention that inclusion as a phenomenon became particularly relevant in the mid-1990s when the Salamanca Statement in 1994 was signed under the UNESCO umbrella. This states that inclusive education has been on the agenda since the 1990s. But this international convention and statement lay a foundation for shifting the focus from individual special needs to the school's ability to meet the different needs and possibilities of all children. Children with a disability should no longer be standing outside the school door. Despite good intention and good planning, results from recent research study indicate that discrepancy between the intention declared in the educational policy on one hand and the educational praxis at schools and the goal of positive outcome for all pupils in other hand. The educational system's ability to meet the diversity in the pupils group and provide relevant educational outcome for pupils is not satisfied. Something more had to be done. Last year, the Education Commission in RI had a project together with RI Norway. The aim for the project was to make guidelines for inclusive education. These guidelines should support the practical work and the process making kindergarten and school more accessible and inclusive for all children and young people, focusing on how to make the daily school routine more accessible. You can find the guidelines on the website to RI Global. But the Education Commission recognized very fast that the guidelines about inclusive education was not enough to achieve inclusiveness in the educational sector. More work must be done. Why do we need a global symbol for inclusive education? There are estimated about 240 million children with disability worldwide. Like all children, children with disability have ambition and dreams for their future. Like all children, they need quality education to develop their skills and realize their full potential. Targeted work is required to achieve real inclusion. This involves both the school leaders' attitude to inclusion and giving teachers tips about methods, organization, and learning resources. It is also important to have competence to support the school in developing and implement an inclusive culture, make a new way in the culture of learning. Some action had to be handled on national level and some action had to be done on the school level. However, as mentioned, research shows that inclusiveness can be difficult to achieve in practice. The Education Commission realized that the difficult implementation process was challenging and where we had to focus and give more support in the future. That's the reason for continuing the work and founding this new supporting project called A Global Symbol. We hope using a global quality symbol could be an inspiration and a tool for institutions who want to work towards a goal for inclusive education. Quality is about finding new solutions. When the old methods do not function, we have to find new way. By using a symbol, it will be visible for all who are involved, which school work in accordance with the principle for inclusive education. It will be visible for the community, it will be visible for the learners, it will be visible for the parents, and it will be visible for the teacher. And for your information, RI established a symbol for accessibility using the blue wheelchair many years ago. It was a success and is still a used symbol. We hope the symbol for inclusive education also will be a success. In other words, we have good experience with using symbol in changing processes. How to receive the quality symbol? Quality building is important in the implementation process. To build quality, you must involve persons and systems who are affected by the issue. User involvement, that means learners' involvement, all parents also included, is very important as a central principle in the project. We have also made some criteria for the quality process. As a part of the quality process, we have made forms for use in the quality evaluation. The handbook produced in the project describes the quality process toward a more inclusive educational institution and environment. In that way, the handbook will support in the implementation process. To get the symbol, the institution, together with the learners who are involved, had to follow the procedure described in the handbook before being allowed to get and use the symbol for inclusive education. It will be RI as an organization who give you acceptance for using the symbol, and you have to apply for the symbol to the RI's headquarters in New York. Information about the process and what to do you will find on RI's website as soon as the system is installed. On the website you also will find the handbook like this and the forms for the quality process. For your information, this system will be function as soon as the designer competition for making the new global symbol is ended. This is planned to end in December this year, and the publishing will be in January 2026. You can read more about the creative process and competition on RI's website. We know that a lot of schools and universities use a lot of time and have a complicated system for making their institution more inclusive. For helping in this process and make it more universal, we have used a very practical approach in the handbook. We want to make it easier for all institutions and will not complicate the process. Some of the theme or topics in the handbook is related to the following subjects: attitudes, leadership and classroom management, individual education plan, collaboration between parents and school, external support and professional development, and information about teaching and learning materials, aids and assistive devices you can use in the process. I will advise you to look at the handbook for more information. In the handbook, we have focused on the leadership in the implementation process. The importance of leadership is essential for succeeding in making the institution more inclusive. We also know that the importance of leadership working with inclusion is universal. It is relevant for educational system in all countries. Targeted work is required to achieve real inclusion. Leadership on national political level is needed to get appropriate legislation, clear policy direction and financing. Leadership at the institution levels involves both the leader, attitude to inclusion, and gives teachers information about method, organization and learning resources. And leadership in the classroom involves the teacher's ability to create a learning environment that promotes the pupils' academic and social learning. To help the leadership in the process, we have made a list about the important steps in the implementation process. Culture and attitudes is one of the 10 steps described. In short, we can say that leadership in the implementation process is about creating a common language, a conceptual framework, and understanding about what shall we do, why shall we do it, and how shall we do it. As already mentioned, in the handbook you will find forms for use in the process on the way to getting a global symbol for inclusive education. There are two forms. Both forms had to be used for getting the symbol. The learners, that means pupils, students, and parents, had to fill out Form 1. This form is the foundation for the process carried out to complete Form 2. Form 2 will be completed by the institution together with the persons who have filled out Form 1. This form shall ensure the quality and reflect what has to be done and what needs to be done at the system level in the educational institution. Both parties had to sign the form. We can say this is a very bottom-up approach. Nothing will happen without strong involvement of the learners. I will also inform you about some information given in the handbook about the guidelines. You will find a practical toolbox for making the institution more accessible and inclusive. And we also have made a list of points to remember for making the school accessible for all disabilities. So please use this material and distribute it to people who need information about disability and how to make the schools accessible for children with disability. And the end of my presentation, I will say thank to our partners and supporters in the project. The UNESCO Institute for Information Technologies in Education has been giving a great support to the project. We have also been working together with user organizations, students and parents. We also had a project group with professional partners and some members in the RI different commission, and the headquarters in New York has been important in the process, and also the Society of Graphic Designer for the competition making a new global symbol. And as I told you, we look forward to see this symbol in December this year. So thank you for that attention, and I hope you can take some information from the website. You can look closer to RI Global's website for more information. So thank you.